Hello everybody. Today I'd like to introduce a new series that I'm working on, in which I read really bad video game creepypastas. This is really, quite honestly, a blatant ripoff of Retsupurae's Slow Beef's House of Horror on the Retsupurae YouTube channel. I'm a big fan of Retsupurae, and those two videos he did just had me rolling on the floor laughing. And it just, as well as his crappy pasta videos, all very funny, finding horrible creepypastas online and reading them and mocking them. And I figured I'd do the same because I really do find these funny. I have an ironic appreciation for them. And I figured the first one I should do is MortalKombat.exe because that's the first one I ever read. And yeah, no, dear God, it's complete and utter garbage. So, stay tuned and I hope you enjoy my reading of MortalKombat.exe. I was always a fan of the Mortal Kombat games, especially the Mortal Kombat Project games, before I started to hate the games. That's not redundant at all. In fact, I hate even hearing about then. Hate even hearing about that. I think he meant to say them. Typo, whatever. One day, when I was surfing the internet for some games for my emulators, I happened to come upon a game titled Mortal Kombat.exe. I'm not going to give out a link to the source of the game for the safety of both you and your computer. I digress. I expected it to be dull, but when I looked at the RAM it took up, it said that it takes up 2 gigabytes. So I thought to myself that the game would be exciting, because I've never downloaded a Mortal Kombat game that took so much memory. Because obviously, if the game takes up a lot of memory, then it's going to be good. I mean, there are no horrible games out there that just have a lot of, like, memory space taken up, right? I mean, that'd just be unheard of. So, I clicked on the download link and started downloading the game. Surprisingly, it took over 4 hours for the entire game to download. The download then finished. And this is really kind of redundant writing, don't you think? But that's when things started to get weird. The download box popped up, letting me know that the download was finished. Oh my god. Redundancy award for redundancy. So I clicked Run, then my laptop screen burst into static and started playing a frequently high-pitched sound. Don't you mean uh, high-pitched frequency sound? That would make more sense than it just frequently kept playing high-pitched whatever. Then the laptop literally went black. You know, as a writer myself, this is really a pet peeve of mine. People who misuse the word literally. Literally means exactly what I'm saying. I'm not mixing words. I'm not substituting any kind of double meaning for this word. There's no entendres here. He's saying that his laptop actually went black. And not the laptop screen either. So I'm just left to assume that wherever his laptop, whatever happened to it, it's just not coming back. Yeah, I know. Too easy. Whatever. Back to the story. I then grunted to myself in anger, trying to turn my laptop back on. After a few tries, my laptop finally turned on, the same as it was before, except there was a game on my desktop. I thought to myself that the laptop just crashed from the large download. So I clicked on the game and started playing. There was no music playing. The screen showed Goro, and there were the words Arcade, Versus, Practice, Options, and Exit. So I clicked Arcade, and the Mortal Kombat 1 arcade theme burst out of my speakers violently, nearly shaking the whole house. Wait, hold on. Your speakers are good enough that they can shake your entire residence when... Wow, those are some pretty boss speakers, don't you think? So I muted my computer, thinking nothing of the sound, and what came up I couldn't believe. The character selection screen came up showing a total of 276 characters. I was amazed. This was the best Mortal Kombat ever. So I selected one of my favorite characters, Chameleon. Wait, Chameleon's one of your favorite Mortal Kombat characters? Really? Well, I guess somebody has to care about Chameleon, right? Someone, I guess. Huh? Only there were 6 versions of him, so I chose the Mortal Kombat Trilogy Chameleon. Six ver- What kind of obsessive Mortal Kombat fan would need 6 different versions of Chameleon of all characters? God. Then a box popped up on the selection screen saying choose stage. There was a total of 500 stages, only making the game better. So I chose my favorite place to fight, the Mortal Kombat 1 pit. When I selected the stage, Shao Kahn's voice said, "Good choice, Lane." 2 things then popped into my head. 1. How did he know my name? And 2. How is his voice coming up even though my speakers are muted? Then the loading screen came up. I had to fight Hydro, a Mortal Kombat Project character. Okay, wait. Why not just name off a character anyone's ever heard of? Like, I don't know, Scorpion, Striker, Melina. I mean, a character from a fan project is what you go with. Whatever. So I started fighting and finally got to the point where Shao Kahn's voice said, "Finish him!" Then a box popped up showing a list of names. One was my friend Jordan, so I clicked Jordan just for fun. Why? Whatever. And then another box came up saying, "Choose Fatality." Then a box popped up. Could you find a synonym for box? Jeez, this is redundant as all hell. Then a box popped up saying, he lists every number. Fatality 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and stage fatality. I thought that it was awesome that every character had 10 fatalities and a stage finisher. Why do you... 10 fatalities? And you had to list off every number. You couldn't just say fatality 1 through 10 and stage fatality. You know, save anyone reading this from having to read through 10 different numbers. I don't know. So I chose stage fatality. When I clicked stage fatality, it called me redundant. God. It showed my character Chameleon uppercutting Hydro, causing him to fall into the pit's spikes at the bottom. When he hit the ground, very realistic blood shot out of him. There we go. I mean, all of these fucking creepypastas have to have realistic blood, hyper realistic blood, blood whistles. uh, Whatever. Just like the ultimate annoying trope these have. I mean, it's like 16-bit graphics and hyper realistic blood. Hydro's scream nearly broke my speakers that it was so loud. I was angry that I kept hearing noises from the game, as I'd muted my computer and was confused as to why the noises were so loud. I'm confused as to why you didn't edit this and take out some of the redundancies. I mean, okay, look, I'd be a little more than angry. I'd be really confused because I muted my computer and it's still making sounds. Then the words, "Chameleon wins, fatality," came up on the screen, but there was no Shao Kahn saying the name in the fatality. Then Shao Kahn's voice came up saying, "You will never win, Lane." And I mean loud. Then a bunch of pop-ups saying, "MortalKombat.exe is not responding" came up, crashing my laptop. I was frightened. I tried to turn my laptop back on, but it would not power on. I thought that it must have been a virus. Angrily, I put up my laptop, thinking to myself that I could try and fix it in the morning, since I'm good with computers. Wait, if you're good with computers, then why wouldn't... Okay, look, the narrative here is not coming from a guy who's good with computers. I mean, ugh, whatever. I mean, I muted the speakers, and yet there's still sound coming out. well, golly gee, that makes me angry. It's like, that's kind of impossible, right? I mean, you'd think that if you're good with whatever. I then went to bed, trying to sleep, but still thinking about why the game knew my name. I awoke to a ringing noise. It was my iPhone 4. That was product placement. Does he think that, like, Apple is going to, like, send some money his way? It's like, hey, yeah, this guy who wrote a creepypasta online about a Mortal Kombat game that's haunted or some shit. Uh, just plugged our product. Let's like send him like a new MacBook and an iPod, right? Send him some business our way. Let's do something for him, right? Jesus. I looked at my phone to check what time it is. 2:30 a.m. I then answered the phone only to hear my friend's mom crying. I asked her to tell me what was wrong and what the siren sound in the background was. She told me that the sirens were police and ambulance sirens and that Jordan was dead. He had several large holes in his body. I bolted downstairs, trying to turn on my laptop, but then a message box popped up and said, "Thank you for playing, Lane, but I told you, you will never win." I was screaming and crying in horror and despair. Several message boxes popped up saying, "Never." Then the worst thing ever happened to me. As opposed to the fact that my best friend just got brutally killed, this is the worst thing that ever happened to me. It's far worse than that. I mean, my best friend died a horrible death that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, but, this is so much worse. A bunch of pictures of dead adults, children, and babies popped up on the screen. Then a message box saying, "Look at him! Look at him!" I just love that part. Then a picture of my friend Jordan was shown. His eyes gouged out and his intestines popped out, laying on the floor. He also had several gory holes in his body. The screen went black, and a Mortal Kombat font came up saying, "Lane wins. Fatality." The screen then went black. It has been 4 months since the incident, and I'm traumatized by it. Just like anyone else would be. The police found the man who killed Jordan. Oddly, he's the creator of the game I downloaded. I think that would be a little bit more than oddly, wouldn't you? Whatever. And how would you find that out? Like, when they caught him, would the police report on the news be like, uh, guy who makes ROM hacks implemented in murder? I Oddly, he's the creator of the game I downloaded. Yesterday, I was flipping through the channels on my TV, and I saw Jordan's killer in a court on TV show. Sorry, in court on a TV show. I had to watch. After about 5 minutes, the judge asked him what he had to say before he was sentenced to death. He responded by looking at the camera and saying, "Lane, you will never win," violently laughing as the bailiff carried him away. Oh man, that was spooky! Oh, what a piece of garbage.